get somewhere. And I think particularly, you know, in the east, some areas of Tibet that you know, like in the summers, people are working from, you know, before dawn right until nighttime, you know, and particularly often women are working very hard. And sometimes I had one Lama who was, his aim was to build a nunnery in northeast Tibet, mainly, you know, as a kind of give a refuge to women who cannot get out of that life, which is almost like this like slave labor, really, because all they do just work from morning till evening, particularly through the summers. And it's a very tough life.
I never would have had the idea. I mean, we have no exposure to those.
Yeah, it's not kind of like Shangri-La, particularly, you know. And so, you know, life has its problems in Tibet, particularly, you know, kind of wife beating, you know, that's also kind of endemic, you know, to Tibet.
Yeah, moment.
I'm not giving a very good description of Tibet.
Moment.
It is a problem, though, you know, women have...
I never would imagine that.
And interesting, I just read in the biography of when the Lama lived in America. When they got married, she was 16 and he was 30. So he started hitting her, you know, and she complained, and he said, well, this is what Tibetan husbands do. So when he went to sleep at night, she got a stick and started hitting him. And he woke up and said, what are you doing? He said, this is what Western women do to husbands. He learned, I think.
So that's quite the story. And so I never would imagine that doesn't fit together with this Tibetan knowledge that we have from there, the lamas and enlightenment and spirituality, and then we go to the casual people, I guess, over there. They live the hard life, they are poor, and then they have their problems, and then it's common sense to them to hit the woman.
And children, you know, beating children. It's very, it's kind of, and in the monasteries too, you know. I mean, it's changing now probably, but I know particularly a lot of stories from a few years ago. Like physical punishments in monasteries was quite hair-raising to hear about.
Yeah, I'm shocked a little bit.
So Westerners would be So I think when they came to India, then it toned down in India partly because of, you know, meeting Westerners and things like that who were very shocked by that. So there was a big change in exile. So and you know and also East Tibet is also quite violent, actually, even though that's the main area for like spirituality and the great masters. It's you know, it was a bit like the Wild West as well, with a lot of, you know, feuding and duels and.
So back to Milarepa.
So it's a very exciting place, you know. In terms of, you know,
so
bandits.
It's just amazing, bandits. So back to Milarepa, is no wonder his story that being a magician, becoming then actually someone who is beginning those crimes, kind of like giving that back, and now I take my right, and then from there the growth.
Because you do hear you know, people who were bandits and killed people and then became monks, you know. So that, you know, so it's not some like distant legend. There was something that was happening up till you know, recent times.
That's a quite total new picture to me. We never would have heard. We all just hear these teachings and or the enlightenment, but not those things.
The difficulties, yes. So Tibet has always had a lot of, you know, life hasn't always just been simple or easy there. They've had a lot of, you know, a lot of troubles in, you know, in society, wars, and being, you know, and religious wars in Tibet have as if Tibetans are the first to mention that, you know, that they have had a whole history of religious wars, whereas Westerners tend to assume that no such thing could have happened in Tibet, but it's a principal factor in the history of Tibet, and. But you know, but then, you know, so it's a whole mixture of you know, quite contrasts, and then you have these you know, very lamas who are just totally, you know, compassionate and caring and so on.
I can imagine in this harsh environment on the top of the world, I would say, living in Tibet, a harsh environment, a very harsh life, and then the growth and the learning, and then getting the sense of what is being alive, what is being the human. So they are just normal humans and anybody else, and then growing out of this, and maybe that made it develop, that type of, I would say, religion, actually, because of that could have been like a foundation or the good soil for the growth, to grow out of that.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's like a, almost like extreme dedication to a spiritual path and a total devotion. So it's something that's also, quite a feature of Tibet and East Tibet, and probably because of that culture, which is very, it's because of the difficulties of life and the dangers and so on.
Do the Tibetan people relate to the teaching of the Buddha, Lama, to those teachings?
Yes, yeah, I would say. I mean, they all, there's a strong sense of faith, very strong sense of faith you find generally amongst Tibetans, particularly in Tibet. And maybe they don't, but I mean, you got to remember that up till 1950, almost all illiterate, so it's not that they could read or, so it's only when people would go into the monasteries they might, learn a lot about the teachings. But so for general Tibetans, it was often a case of just expressing devotion. And yes.
I think about, just in between while you was telling me this, I just was thinking back, what makes you growing into this Tibetan interest to the language, and then it's not just simple coincidence. Do you think that something very special bounds you to that part of the world?
I have no idea. My clairvoyance is down to 0. So I don't know where I came from, or why I'm doing what I'm doing, or where I'm going.
I guess that's your trouble. That's your trouble now, and then somewhere on the end you're gonna be enlightened, and you figure it on the way. Who knows? So I just was kind of like thinking.
Why I was in the Taft building at that program. That's my
so
wife in my last life.
you know, hello, you got it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I was your mother or whatever.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Yeah. So getting from this really extreme great knowledge and the story of Milarepa, and getting to ourselves, live a sinful life, go through life, learn and grow, and be open, total open-minded, and how far we get in the enlightenment and how far we get into our discharging our karmas. So get this, that's just a great conclusion, I would say, to the whole. And as you get deep into this and you say, I don't have much connection from past, but you are attracted, you just do it because you love to do it, that's kind of enough, and it's great. I would say. I was just kind of like thinking you might have a connection there, but that was a great thought. So yeah, thank you so much. It was really an honor to have you here. It was really fun to meet you, and believe me, it made all sense, no problem. That was all amazing, and we had an incredible, and that was my surprise. I never would have imagined myself that I'm gonna get introduced to Tibet this way, and I see with other eyes, and get more knowledge of the life, and that those people are humans developing normal as anybody else, and that actually the Tibetan teachings are growing also from the suffering, and many religion has that story. Very much thank you for you that you came today. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. All my gossip. Probably get sued by somebody now.
For sure. Nah.